The emperor is dead, and in a bold and unprecedented move, a woman, Maria Theresa, has been appointed to inherit the throne of the Habsburgs. In the grand courts of Europe, this decision sends shockwaves. Our enemies, ever watchful, see her rise not as a rightful claim, but as a weakness. Seizing the moment, they use it as a pretext to wage war, to challenge our authority, to break the balance of power. Now, as the drums of war echo across the continent, we must steel ourselves, for a storm is coming. The Austrian Netherlands now stand as our most vulnerable frontier, distant from Vienna and nearly encircled by the might of French armies. To defend them will be no small task. It will demand courage, resolve, and sacrifice. Yet, even as that front weakens, our greatest concern lies elsewhere, in the ambitions of the Prussian king, determined to shatter our dominion over the German lands. He moves swiftly, striking at the heart of our influence. In response, our largest army has been dispatched to Berlin, a bold march, not just to confront Prussia, but to break this rising isolation that threatens to consume the empire. Our army, too small in number to besiege both Berlin and Pomerania at once, has resorted to a harsh but calculated strategy. Farms and villages surrounding Berlin have been plundered, not for spoils, but as a deliberate provocation. The goal, to draw out the Prussian forces, to force their hand into open battle. We deployed in a solid defensive line, holding position and awaiting the Prussian advance, anticipating a frontal engagement. Our formations remained steady, but the enemy moved with greater speed than expected. Their cavalry executed a swift flanking maneuver, striking hard at our exposed left wing before their infantry could even enter the field. While the Prussian forces are numerically inferior, they hold a significant qualitative advantage. Their army is composed of elite, professional regiments, well-drilled and highly coordinated. In contrast, our troops are largely regulars, raised in haste and lacking battlefield cohesion. This imbalance is forcing us to adapt and move, redistributing units to reinforce the flank and delay a full collapse before our center can engage properly.
Nuestros hombres huyen, señor.
Prussian army, though composed of elite units, lacks the numbers to match the full extent of our line. This disparity creates a tactical opportunity.
Nuestros hombres huyen,
Their
señor.
right flank is overstretched and vulnerable. We have identified the gap, and now the door is open. Our right wing has begun executing an envelopment maneuver, aiming to roll up the enemy line from flank. If successful, we can collapse their formation inward, isolate their center, and seize the initiative.
Los hombres están fatigados, señor. Necesitan descansar.
Our left flank has definitively failed to hold against the Prussian assault. Their concentrated pressure, led by disciplined infantry and aggressive cavalry, has broken through our initial positions. All available reserves in the sector have now been committed in an attempt to re-establish the line. Time is critical. If the left collapses entirely before the right envelopment succeeds, the entire operation risks falling into disarray. The battle now hinges on whether our lines can stabilize before the enemy exploits the breach.
Los hombres están fatigados, señor. Necesitan descansar.
Shooter, das Gewehr!
Nuestros hombres huyen, señor.
The Prussians have presented us with a formidable challenge. The outcome of the battle remains uncertain. As the fighting now stretches across the entire line, neither side yields ground, both locked in a brutal contest of endurance and will. Every push is met with resistance, every gain countered. The field is open, but only just at this stage. It's no longer a matter of strength alone, but of who breaks first.
Los hombres huyen, señor. Nuestros hombres huyen, señor. Los hombres están fatigados, señor. Necesitan
Our left
descansar.
flank is lost. The commander, fully aware of the impossibility of holding, has made a bold decision to strike hard on the left. The cavalry company has been ordered to shift and reinforce the maneuver. The objective is clear: to break through the Prussian right before they can fully capitalize on this position. It is a calculated risk. But if we succeed, if we shatter their flank, we may yet turn the tide of battle. Victory now lies not in defense, but in decisive, concentrated action.
Nuestros hombres huyen, señor.
Our cavalry assault on the enemy's right flank failed to break through. When word of the failure spread, morale crumbled.
Nuestros hombres
Units
huyen,
across the
señor.
line began abandoning their positions, no longer believing in the possibility of victory. The field can no longer be held. What remains of our command structure is now focused on organizing a retreat, not out of panic, but to preserve what forces we can. The battle is lost, but the war endures. We must live to fight another day.
Nuestros hombres huyen, señor. Nuestros hombres huyen, señor. Nuestros hombres huyen, señor.
Gas zum Rückzug!
News of our defeat in the Prussian lands has echoed far beyond the battlefield. In Turin, the King of Savoy, ever calculating, ever watchful, has taken his chance. Sensing weakness, he has accepted the French offer and aligned himself with our enemies. Now a new front emerges. The Duchy of Milan, once a bastion of Habsburg control in northern Italy, stands exposed. French and Savoyard forces gather on its borders. The fall of Milan would not only be a strategic loss, but a symbolic one. The war spreads, and with it, the cost of every misstep grows. In the aftermath of our defeat, our general has ordered a full retreat to Silesia, a defensive posture meant to ensure the Prussians do not push further south into the heart of our territories. The line must be held there at all costs. But now, with Milan under threat and the King of Savoy turning against us, the focus of the war begins to shift. Our attention and our resources must turn to Italy. It is a difficult decision. To divide our forces is to risk weakening both fronts. Yet to ignore Milan is to abandon one of our most vital possessions. The empire stands at a crossroads.
Majestät! Nachschub sammeln!
Meine Mission? So schnell es geht.
Bereit machen und Befehl erwarten! Männer, vorwärts! Auf Position, Euer Majestät!
The Savoyards have marched. An army has been dispatched across the Alps with orders to invade Lombardy and secure a swift victory for the Franco-Savoyard alliance. But our general, seasoned and shrewd, has acted with precision rather than face the enemy head-on. He has maneuvered deep into their rear, severing vital supply lines and threatening their logistics. Now, with their route of retreat compromised and provisions dwindling, the Savoyard commander has no choice but to turn and face us. What began as an invasion has become a trap. The enemy must now accept battle on our terms.
Nuestros hombres huyen, señor. Nuestros hombres huyen, señor.
Our army is significantly outnumbered. The general now fully recognizes that responding effectively to every enemy maneuver is no longer feasible. With limited forces stretched across a broad front, coordination has begun to break down. As a result, several of our regiments are now isolated, left without proper support and dangerously exposed to enemy cavalry attacks.
Los hombres están fatigados, señor. Necesitan descansar.
Grenadiere bereit, Sir. Ja, Sir.
Attenzione! Schermagliatori nemici!
That small hill, positioned between our center and right flank, holds tactical significance. If the enemy secures it, they will gain elevation and line of sight over both sectors, compromising our coordination and exposing our formations. Immediate action is required. Troops are now being redeployed to secure the position before it falls into enemy hands. Holding that ground may prove critical to maintaining the integrity of our line.
Nuestros hombres huyen, señor.
Enemy infantry is applying heavy pressure on our right flank. Their advance is coordinated and aggressive, threatening to break through our lines at a critical point. Fearing a collapse, command has dispatched a cavalry company to intercept and disrupt their momentum. The objective is clear. Delay their push long enough to stabilize the flank
Nuestros
and buy
hombres
time
huyen,
for
señor.
reinforcements to reposition.
Die Infanterie bereit. Die Infanterie bereit. Dann vor mir. Ja, Sir. Legt an! Ich mach an! Legt an!
Nuestros hombres huyen, señor.
Our forces have managed to hold the right flank for now, but the center is faltering, continuing under sustained pressure. It can no longer maintain its position. Worse still,
Los hombres están fatigados,
nearing
señor.
total
Necesitan
collapse,
descansar.
with both ends of our line under strain, and the center beginning to give way. The integrity of our formation is in jeopardy.
Nuestros hombres huyen, señor.
Die Infanterie bereit.
We have fought bravely, discipline held, and every regiment did its duty under fire. But bravery alone cannot win a battle when outmatched. Our lack of manpower, and more critically, the absence of sufficient cavalry, has made victory impossible. The enemy's mobility and numbers have overwhelmed our positions. Command has issued the order. Lombardy must be evacuated.
Sir! Zu den Waffen! Welche Niedertracht! Sofort!
Bad news rarely comes alone. As if defeat on the battlefield were not enough, Hesse Castle has now declared its allegiance to the Prussian cause. This act of betrayal sends shockwaves through the Holy Roman Empire. If it goes unpunished, more German states may be emboldened to rise against us. The balance of loyalty is delicate, and treason, if left unchecked, spreads like wildfire. To preserve the empire, we must act swiftly, decisively. Hesse Castle must be made an example, or we risk watching the German order unravel before our eyes.
Zurückweichen! Halt!
Milan has fallen, and with our armies stretched thin and far from the eastern frontier, the Ottomans, ever watchful, have seized a moment to declare war. Now the empire finds itself caught between collapsing fronts. Allies falter, enemies multiply, and yet, amidst the darkness, a bold plan takes shape. To shift the momentum, we need not just a victory, but a crushing one. Our forces will outmaneuver the Hessians, bypassing their field armies to strike at their heart, the capital itself. It is a gamble, but one born of necessity. The fate of the empire may depend on it.
Bereit machen und Befehl erwarten! Bereit machen! Marsch! Auf Position! Bereit machen und Befehl erwarten! Zum Kampf, wilden Hunde!
Orders have been issued to our left flank. Advance and secure the hill overlooking the enemy center. Controlling this position will provide a key advantage, elevation for artillery deployment, and a forward base to threaten the enemy's central line. If held, it could force the enemy to divert forces from other sectors, weakening their overall cohesion.
Nuestros hombres huyen, señor.
The Hessians, now fully aware of our intentions, have adapted their strategy. They are keeping our right flank engaged in constant exchange of volleys, not to break through, but to pin our forces in place. Meanwhile, their main effort is concentrated on the center and the left, with aggressive pushes. They aim to create multiple gaps across our line, stretching our defenses and disrupting our ability to respond effectively. It's a calculated tactic. Fix one flank, fracture the other, and force collapse through exhaustion and disarray.
Nuestros hombres huyen, señor.
In an effort to regain the initiative, our general ordered a massive bayonet charge against the Hessian center. The objective was clear: break their momentum with shock and force. But the assault met with devastating resistance. The enemy responded with concentrated musket and artillery fire, inflicting severe casualties before our troops could reach engagement range. The charge has failed, and our forces
Nuestros
are now
hombres
in
huyen,
retreat.
señor.
As a result, reserves from the right flank are being redeployed to stabilize the center and prevent a full collapse. The situation is rapidly deteriorating.
Los hombres están fatigados, señor. Necesitan descansar. Los hombres están fatigados, señor. Necesitan descansar.
With the center stabilized and our left achieving a clear victory, the momentum has shifted in our favor. The enemy is overextended and vulnerable. Command has now authorized the next phase, a full cavalry assault on their right flank. The objective is decisive: break their
hombres huyen,
formation,
señor.
exploit their disarray, and turn this battlefield into a total victory.
Los hombres están fatigados, señor. Necesitan descansar.
Our center is once again under
Nuestros
heavy
hombres
strain.
huyen, señor.
The enemy continues to press, seeking to exploit every weakness. But there is hope. Our left flank, victorious and with reserve still intact, is now moving to deliver the final blow. These fresh units are advancing with speed and purpose, aiming to strike the enemy from the side and collapse their position entirely. If successful, this maneuver will relieve pressure on the center and seal the outcome of the battle. The moment to decide the fight has come.
Nuestros hombres huyen, señor. Los hombres están fatigados, señor. Necesitan descansar. Los hombres están fatigados, señor. Necesitan descansar. Los hombres están fatigados, señor. Necesitan descansar.
Unerschrocken, unbesiegt.
At last,
Bereit machen.
our maneuver has succeeded. The enemy line is broken, and we can now claim our first true victory of this long and bitter war. Hesse is once again under imperial rule. While this triumph may not shift the strategic balance on its own, its impact is undeniable. After a series of defeats and retreats, this victory restores more than territory. It restores belief. For the first time in months, banners are raised not in desperation, but in confidence.